Greetings and welcome back. This is my channel, Sharman. In this episode, I want to follow on from my last talk, which was around the polarities in which the universe is made, will and love. This foundation series, and I hope you've had time to watch it and also contemplate all the various aspects in which this will and love make themselves manifest in your life so you can begin to glimpse them. Following on from this, now that we've identified the basic underlying principles of creation, I want to explore in this talk the most important aspect that exists between these two, which we call the right relationship. Okay? And the right relationship is how these two are meant to, designed to interface with one another, each having different roles to play. This brings us to the theme of this talk today, which basically surrounds good and evil. I hope. So good and evil as a gigantic term has been with humanity since Cain and Abel, I suppose, or perhaps even longer if you go back pre-biblical. The capacity for the human being to act in different kinds of ways, in ways that create goodness, that create something which we would call positive. There's another thing, positive and negative. Coming back to will and love, variations. The capacity to create something bountiful, something that improves, or to do something that can destroy, or harm, or hurt, or diminish. And we humans walk this uneasy path on some invisible line between these two worlds, trying valiantly to navigate this. And all Judeo-Christian, in fact, all religions, not just the Judeo-Christian ones, but all religions attempt to create for humanity a moral framework in which such actions are highlighted. So that you can see, we call these vices and virtues, good and evil. So today I want to look into this subject a little bit deeper. We won't go into the full depth for it. It's an enormous subject, but we're going to open up the page and have a look and see what is written inside. And this good and evil thing, from as far as I can see, is a pretty simple construct, even though it's very complex in reality. But the simplicity of it is beautiful. You see, the relationship of will to love and love's existence is the same as the relationship of the mind to the heart. Now, there's another two dualisms for you, along with electricity, magnetism, etc., hot, cold. The mind and the heart. And we can see actually in our human fourth kingdom, I'll speak to the kingdoms in another episode, a vastly fascinating series of how this will and love principle unfolds in the manifest universe through a successive range of kingdoms having ever more an increasing ability to respond to everything. And this journey is the journey that will and love make. And I'd like at this point to put to you a very simple definition of consciousness. Consciousness is the principle that is interconnected intimately with all these subjects we speak of here on this channel. And it is this. This is a meditation as well. And the more it's a simple sentence, but it is very difficult for words to contain something as immense as consciousness. And yet, I believe this sentence has the capacity to do just that. So, if you'd like to close your eyes, this will allow you to better visualize these words. Consciousness is the ability to become identical with anything. I'm going to say that again. Consciousness is the ability to become identical with anything. We're not going to explore this one for now, but this is a banger, okay? The more you contemplate this, the more you will realize something about your own nature, something deeply profound about your own nature, which is the goal of this talk, after all. So the ability to become identical with anything. Now, coming back to the relationship of will to love, or from the mind to the heart. See, this relationship between the mind and the heart, or will and love, is actually the basis of the origins of good and evil. Believe it or not, good and evil really arise from the relationship that these two principles have with one another. And before we go any further, I'd like to say this evil concept really only relates to a particular phase of evolution. In particular, this fourth human kingdom. We are aware of the kingdoms. I'll go into the basically mineral first, vegetable second, animal third, human fourth. This fourth kingdom, this expansion of life and sentience into this fourth kingdom brings with it the ability to exercise free will. We have been given the means to understand our position in the universe as sentient beings, that it is an open-ended journey, and that we arise through the mineral, vegetable, animal. We carry all these kingdoms within us, and yet we are this incredible fourth kingdom. In truth, this is a spoiler for our future talk, there are 7 kingdoms, but that will be something we'll do in a future talk. Just in the back of your mind, let that stew for a while. So for now, we're coming back to the fourth kingdom. And this fourth kingdom has mind, and mind has been given free will. Free will can determine whatever it wants. Now, the mind, being given that freedom, is free to determine its own restraints, its own constrictions, its own interests, whatever it wants to do, it can do, okay? Just like will, just like the divine will can do anything, can think anything, conceive of anything. And yet here we already begin to see the right relationship. See, what will has to love is what the mind must have to the heart. And this is inside you. This is the internal construct. This is where the divine is projected within, and the masculine and the feminine components of our being in men and women have a relationship with one another. The masculine, feminine, masculine, will, center, heart, love center in everyone. These two principles must and are born and are designed to unify. This unification is the source of all creation. As we know, when the masculine and feminine come together, they procreate. The procreation is creation. The Holy Spirit produces the child, the Holy Child. The Holy Child is the combination of the two and something new. Always something new. Creation is always something new as a combination of these two infinite things. Mind and heart, light and dark, electricity, magnetism, spirit and matter, content and form, ad infinitum. Coming back to the mind and the heart. What is the right relationship of the mind to the heart? The mind might say, well, does it even have a right relationship? Well, if you actually look at the way the universe has been formed, it most certainly does. You see, love is the safeguard of creation, remember? It is its only safeguard. Without love, will can go berserk and do what thou wilt. In fact, do what thou wilt is one of the sayings attributed to the practitioners of, let's call it, darker magics on this planet. Leaving that aside for now. Love inspires will to create perfection. That means will at some level understands that its power, all of its power, for it has all the power in the universe, must serve love. It must be in service to love to guarantee that its outcome will be perfect. And the divine only makes perfection. So there is simply no journey in the divine because the divine serves love. The will serves love. And therefore everything that it does is perfect. Now, we, made in the image of God, is what it means. God is not some grey-bearded dude in the heavens, although he may well be. God is in fact that which he is will, which serving love, and both are the same being, the one coin, two faces. We too, one being, two faces, mind and heart, will and love. So evil exists when the mind forgets what it has been built and designed to serve, not just to exercise domain, sovereignty, and decree, but it has been built to serve the heart. Evil exists when the mind begins to serve itself. And it is free to do so, for the mind can determine anything, remember, in this world. However, being free to determine everything does not make it free from the consequences of that decision. For everything that we decide has a consequence. In ancient India, this was called karma. The Hermeticists would call it cause and effect. For every will, every act of will is a cause. And every cause, when it is manifest in this world, through the world of form, no matter what form, no matter which dimension this form consists, any act of will made manifest in form has immediate consequences on form and energy. And so we are wise to be careful what we do with this creative energy. And if the mind, emulating will, understands that its job is to decree, to create, to enforce, to make happen, to build, to construct, its job is to do so serving the principles of this aspect of the heart. For thousands of years, this has been forgotten. We call this the age of the patriarchy, where prior to this, I believe it was commonplace that the women were often rulers of tribes. This matriarchy, women were those who supported, nurtured their tribes as elders. Not excluding the men, but matriarchs were definitely seen as the go-tos. This was then supplanted in favor of another progression or evolution of humanity, all natural, where the masculine began to take dominance and began to assert itself and began to control and exercise. And unfortunately, through the age of the patriarchy, the last 2,000 years at least, the masculine has seen fit to see the feminine as something that it simply dominates, something that it can just easily subjugate and easily control, because the will does control everything. And it's very easy to forget that you're there to serve that principle. And in rightful humanity, in truth, men are meant to serve women. That doesn't mean bow and scrape. It means that the principle of which women are made, the principle of the heart field primarily, is a principle that the mind itself is not only wise to serve, but is beholden to serve if it wants to create perfection in this universe. Every time the mind acts without recourse to its own heart, which is its own safeguard, okay? The heart is your safeguard. If you do not act in accordance with your own safeguards, you will do evil, or you are at risk of doing evil. It's that simple. And so this talk is designed to remind us of this rightful principle in the world, and we will expand upon it in a deeper discourse. But for now, I just wanted to lay the seeds of this great construct, of which we, as we can see, intimately partake. And the consequences of this are far-reaching. What does this have for you? Well, obviously it's implied. Knowing this is important to look inside yourself and see where your mind, teach your mind the truth of this thing. You will find that understanding it has a resonance, a special resonance that only truth has. And so having this resonance and being truthful, the mind can possibly accept this, and I hope it does. In accepting it, it can then begin to allow this principle to guide it. In doing so, you will find relations, your own relations between inside yourselves will become rightful. And as so, hopefully as a consequence, the relations that you have outside you in the world will also improve. And as we will expand upon this in the future, I will conclude this talk for now and leave you with these seeds for your own greatness. Thank you very much for your time spent here today with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking so we can add it, razzle dazzle it for everyone. Okay, bye bye. See you again.